Oh, hello, Farhan.
Hey, Jose, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Oh, sorry, Farhan. I am Claudio. I know you. I already know you, but I don't know. But I intrigued by the account of my father-in-law.
Uh-huh, sounds good. Good to see you, Claudio. Good to see you, Claudio.
Because today my father-in-law is my house, but maybe he he could use my computer. Okay,
No worries.
I will relog in. Oh, I need to see my picture. My English is a lot of rich today. I don't remember any words
No problems.
today.
We can help. We can help. I'm sure you didn't forget everything. You'll remember. Just have to practice and you can remember everything.
Yes, because some days, when we are learning English by um, of another country, it's very difficult to keep connect with the language all the time. Because, for instance, I will need today I was working a
Mm-hmm.
lot, so I was talking Portuguese, thinking Portuguese. So now when I am talking with you is a little bit more difficult
Mm-hmm.
to remember English words and what I remembered in another talking of us. I don't know how I say. It's very strange. It.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what you're saying is 100% true. If you don't practice regularly, maybe even 1 week, let's say you take a class, just one class, and then 1 week later you take another class. If you're not reviewing the information uh, every day or every 2 days,
Yeah.
as regular as possible, if you can't review it, then you'll notice that it'll get a little bit weaker, right? And like
Yes.
you'll begin to
Yes.
forget things and things like that. Yeah, that's very normal.
Yes. 2 days. Sometimes 2 days is maybe becoming very difficult to learn in English. Oh, no. I will relog in myself my real account.
Okay, no
Okay.
problems, Claudio. Yeah, see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Dante, how's it going?
Well, I'm fine.
Good.
How are
I
you?
think this is your first time in my class.
Yes, it's my first time in your class.
Uh-huh. Fantastic. Well, Dante, welcome. My name is Farhan, and I live in the United States. I am 24 years old, and I've been teaching on Colingo for maybe 2 months now. So it's been a really great experience. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Dante.
Okay. Well, my name is Dante Ricalde. I'm from Peru,
Peru.
but yeah,
Mucho
Peru.
gusto.
Mucho gusto. But uh, I'm living in Spain.
Living in
Uh,
Spain, wow.
see, I have living in Spain for 5 years, more or
For
less,
5 years. Wow, that's awesome. What part of Spain?
in Madrid.
In Madrid.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have never been to Spain, but I know it's a very beautiful country. And one of my friends is actually from Lima. He is traveling everywhere. He went to Santiago in Chile. He was in Bogota. He was all over, just traveling very recently. So I want to ask him how his trips were and what he saw, what he experienced. You know.
Mhm. Uh, could you repeat, please, the last question because I couldn't understand very well.
Sure, no problems. I was saying that one of my friends, he was in different cities. So he went to Santiago, he went to Bogota. He's from Lima, so he's also from Peru. And I have to ask him, how his trips were all over the world. He's very busy, so I couldn't ask him anything. But, when he's free, I have to ask him, hey, how was your trip to all of these different cities all over South America? All over different cities in the world. So I
Okay.
would like to travel. I haven't been to Madrid or to Lima actually, or actually I have never been to South America. So
Okay. But
yeah,
is your friend a flight attendant?
no. He's just a student, but he's traveling everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's very lucky
I
because
know, I know.
he can travel to many places.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
He really likes to travel. I think he saves all his money at the end of every year, and he spends it all just to travel.
Okay.
He goes everywhere, like all the different cities in South America, and very, very fun life. But I guess not everybody can do that. We can listen to his stories, I guess, people like him. So Dante, how long have you been studying English?
Uh, I have been studying English for almost a year, but uh, I explain to you. Uh, I've studied English in school, but only like a course, three
Hmm.
hours per week, but no continuous.
Hmm.
Um, but I am studying English by myself uh, for almost a year. And I I decided to get into Colingo to improve my English because I noticed that my English was not improving. I was learning several words. Uh, I could read better, but my conversation was very bad.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, and it's something that I think it's great that you came to Colingo because as you know, our focus is completely on conversation, We try to minimize the focus on writing or reading because many times, we know students all around the world, they speak their own native languages and probably they also learn English, like you said, maybe a small course, maybe they go to a special institute, a special school to learn English, but that continuation isn't really present. They don't really continue practicing the English because it's to make something, to become very good at a language, you have to be practicing. You have to really always be, um, you have to internalize the language, right? So we say, for example, in English, you need to make the language your own, right? You need to think about it in your own way, think about it in your own mind. And that's difficult to do if you don't practice it, right? Especially with conversation. For example, when I was learning Spanish at the beginning, it was very difficult for me because, I didn't have anybody to speak Spanish with, just the people in my class. But then when I went to the university level classes, I met a lot of other students who spoke Spanish, and that really helped me with my conversation. So I wish maybe 5, 6 years ago we had something like Colingo for for Spanish speakers as well, for people who wanted to learn Spanish or any other language. But so far that hasn't been, or maybe there is something, but I was able to use my friends and their help to to improve my Spanish. So it's a very
Okay.
similar story, yeah. With
Okay.
I think it's the same in any language, English or anything like that, yeah. Hey, Emmy, how's it going?
Hello, good morning, good evening.
We're all good evening here.
Also,
Yeah, Dante, have you met our friend Emmy before?
No, no, I haven't.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
hi Dante, my name is Amy. I'm from Jordan. I live in Saudi Arabia. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name is Dante, and I'm from Peru. Nice to meet you too.
Great. That's a great conversation so far. So, guys, we are about 11 minutes past the hour. I think we should get started with our lesson. We are waiting for Claudio. Claudio is going to be back. He actually logged in as his father-in-law here on Google, and his father-in-law's name is Jose something. When he joined the class, he said, "Hey, Farhan." I said, "Hey, Jose." I had no idea. So, and then he told me, "No, this is Claudio." And then he noticed his name, and he realized that he logged in as his father-in-law. So he can join us in a little bit, but let's get started, guys. So today, this might be not very surprising for Emmy, because today's lesson that I'm teaching is actually the same grammar lesson that I taught yesterday. So we are talking about prepositions of time and place, right? When we talk about prepositions, prepositions are words in English that can be used to relate one thing to another thing, right? For example, at the most basic level, at the most basic
Sorry,
level,
Farhan.
yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say welcome back. Now your sound is so
So good. Yeah,
yeah,
it's because I'm in my house. Like,
yes,
I when I'm traveling, it's a different
oh, yeah,
computer, it's a
yes,
different room, very bad
yes.
internet.
It's
I hate it.
difficult for us either these couple days.
No,
Yes,
I know. I apologize for that. It's going to be once a month, roughly 3 days or so. I'll be traveling. I have a new
it's okay.
assignment for my job, so other days I'll be here, so we can talk
It's
much
it's
easily.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, continue, please. Sorry.
Sure.
Okay.
No problem. So with the at the very basic level, prepositions are words that relate one object to another object, one thing to another thing. So when we think about words that help us do that, right? In English, they're usually very short words like in, on, to, from, right? Above, below, right? So you can think of it like this, like the book is on the table. The cat is in his house, right? Whatever. The money is in my wallet, right? Uh, the teacher is at home, or the teacher is at school. It makes more sense to say the teacher is at school. So all of these words, at, on, in, right? These are all prepositions. And we have special categories of prepositions. Some prepositions we use to describe time, some we use to describe place, right? So we actually have, out of all of these prepositions, the prepositions from and to are used for place and time, right? So one example, you guys both used this example when you guys were introducing each other. From we can use when we talk about place, where we are from, right? So when we heard from Emmy, Emmy said, I'm from Jordan. And when we heard from Dante, Dante said, I am from Peru, right? So same thing, I can say I am from Bangladesh. That's where my parents are from, right? But I live in the United States, right? So these are all different ways that we can use prepositions. And for place and time, we can use from and to, right? So one example of place would be, I am from Bangladesh, I'm from Wisconsin, I'm from the United States, I'm from Peru, right? You can also use from if you are talking about time, right? So you can say, for example, I am leaving from school in 10 minutes, right? I am leaving from school in 10 minutes, right? Or any other destination or any other location, right? I am leaving from home in 5 minutes, right? So these are all examples of using from as a preposition for location or for place as well as time, right? So Dante, give me an example using from to talk about time.
Uh, talking about time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, mm, I have been studying English from mm, from 2012.
Fantastic. I have been learning English or studying English from
English
2012.
12.
Fantastic, right? Very well done. Emmy, give me another example when you're using from in the case of time.
Okay. I'm taking classes or Colingo classes from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
I am taking Colingo classes from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. Fantastic, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. Great job. I am taking Colingo classes from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, right? Fantastic. We're using from, and we're talking about time, right? So we saw the example of from. We can use it for both place. I am from America. I am from Peru, and and also for time, right? I am studying English from 2012. We can also use the preposition to, right? We can also use the preposition to. And to we can use when we are talking about traveling, for example, from one location to another location, right? So you can use both of these prepositions, from and to, when you're talking about going from some place to another place, right? So Dante, give me an example using from and to when you're talking about changing your location.
Oh, okay. Uh, uh, the travel the travel from Madrid to Lima uh, lasts almost uh, 11 hours.
Mm-hmm. Traveling from, or actually, Dante, you should say the trip
The
from
trip,
Madrid to Lima lasts 11 almost 11 hours, right?
11 or 12 hours.
So the trip from Madrid to Lima lasts almost 12 hours or lasts 12 hours, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic, right? From Madrid to Lima. Great job. Emmy, let's hear a similar example from you. Let's try to use from and to in a sentence.
Okay. For example, the distance from my house to my sister's house will take 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. The distance from my house to my sister's house will take 15 minutes to travel, right?
To
Because,
travel.
yeah,
No, to visit.
to visit, sure, or to pass. Or actually,
Mhm.
because since you're talking about traveling, right, it'll take 15 minutes for you to travel between your home and your sister's home, right? So visit is actually not as good a verb to use as travel, right? Because you have to say, if you're talking about distance, right, you have to have a verb in that sentence, right? So that's why travel is good, because when you travel, you are traveling a distance, right? You could have also said for example, the distance from my home to my sister's home is 10 kilometers, right? That in that case, is would be your verb, and you would just talk about distance, right?
Yes. Oh, is far or hard to reach, something like that. Yes.
Exactly, right? So that's how you'll be able to use that. But great job on that one as well, right? And so I think you guys have a good understanding so far of from and to. Do we have any questions about these two prepositions so far?
Mm, mm. No, no.
No.
Okay. Okay, Dante is good. All right, Emmy's good as well. Okay. So first we looked at from and to. Now we are looking at from and until, right? And from and until we use really very similarly to from and to in the sense of time, right? So we already heard from Emmy before. I will be taking Colingo classes, or I am taking Colingo classes from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., right? Emmy, how would you change that sentence to use from and until?
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take calling classes from 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. 10 a.m.
Fantastic, fantastic. There's no difference in meaning. We are simply changing one preposition for another preposition, right? To and until, right? So we can also say it doesn't have to be limited in terms of time. We can also use a longer span of time, right? We can say, for example, let's say Dante will be in Seville from November to January, right? Let's say you're on a trip, right? I will be in Casablanca from Monday through Thursday, or Monday until Thursday, right? Same situation, from and until. It doesn't matter how long we're talking about, years or months or days or hours or minutes, right? Really doesn't matter. So Dante, give me an example using from and until in a sentence.
I work every day from 9 in the morning until 6 in the afternoon.
Fantastic, fantastic. I work every day from 9 in the morning until 6 in the afternoon. So I think you guys are doing great job on this once again, right? The one thing I want to mention is in conversational English, we often sometimes use the word till instead of until, right? Just in conversation, people say, I'm working till 6 o'clock tonight, right? If you're not using from, you can just say like, I'm working until 10 p.m. tonight. I'm working until 7 p.m. tonight. Some people don't say the un, especially in conversation. I'm working till 10 p.m. I'm studying till dawn, right? Maybe you have a big exam. I'm studying till dawn, right? So instead of until becomes till, right? That's the only difference that we see with this example. And so now I have the third and final example of a preposition, right? So far, guys, any questions with from and until?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Okay, good. Emmy, any questions?
No.
Okay, fantastic. So the last preposition that I want to talk to you guys about is through, right? Through. There are several ways to spell through. The one we're talking about is T-H-R-O-U-G-H, through, right? So when we use the preposition through, we can also use through in both place and time, right? And the best way I like to think about when we talk about place is imagine you're going from a starting point, an origin, to a destination. And imagine what you have to go through on that trip, right? So let's say you are going from Madrid to Paris, right? So, for example, Dante can say, I drove through Barcelona to get to Paris, right? Because if you're traveling from Madrid, you probably have to go through Barcelona in order to get to Paris, right? Or, I traveled through Bolivia to get from Lima to Sao Paulo, right?
Okay.
Going from Peru to Brazil, you have to go through Bolivia if you're driving, right? So very similar situation. You're talking about the place that you crossed, the destination that you went through, that you passed through, right? And I always like to think of it. It doesn't have to be a very large example like traveling between countries or between cities. You can even say something as basic as I traveled through the park, or I walked through the park. I walked through the forest, right? You're just passing a location, right? So give me one example, Emmy, using through in terms of location. Talking about a location. Yeah.
Okay, for example, I must or not to go to my sister's house. I must through 16th Street, for example.
I must. You're missing a verb there, right?
I must. I must also travel through 16th Street. I think travel it's for journeys and trips.
Yeah, travel
It's
works.
like a drive, for example. Yes, drive through 60th Street.
16 streets?
60th.
Like,
Yes.
you're going.
Second street, like the third street.
You have to go through
Name
16 of
of
those, right?
no, I meant the name of the street.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay, I get it.
Mhm.
So to go to my sister's home, to go to my sister's house, I need to drive through 16th Street,
Yes, the
right?
name of the street. Yes.
Another way to mention this actually, if you're talking about a street, Emmy, that you are going through, it's even better to use the verb cross, right?
Cross.
Because for example, when you walk across the street, you are crossing the street, right? And you can even use this for driving, right? So cross, when I drove to my sister's house, I crossed 16th Street, right? You were driving, you crossed that street. Maybe you were walking, you crossed that street, right? So instead of travel, when we're talking about streets that you are passing through, we can also use cross,
Okay.
right? So that's another good example, but great job on that one as well. Dante, give me an example using through, talking about a location.
I go running through streets near my house twice a week.
How many times a week?
Twice, two.
Twice a week.
Twice, sorry.
No, that's fine, man. That's fine. We want to ask these kinds of questions, right? So I run through the streets near my house twice a week, right?
Yeah.
And is that for just for exercise, for fun, or?
For exercise.
Fantastic, right? Fantastic. So that's a great way to say it. I run through the streets near my house twice a week for exercise, or whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah.
Great job on that, right? So we were also talking about through. We saw through in the case of location, in the case of place. We can also use through in the case of time, right? And one of the best ways to think about this is, for example, somebody, just like we were talking about location, you're crossing through a location. You can also think of crossing through time, right? Time is always passing by, right? So you can think of we are crossing through time. So you can say, for example, we worked through the night to finish the project, right? We worked through the entire week to present our final paper, right? So the entire week, you passed the entire week, you passed the entire night to finish the project, to complete the project, to do whatever, right? Or you can think of another example, and the second example is if we are, for example, talking about an individual and a part of his life, right? So maybe we are talking about someone like Bill Clinton, right? Bill Clinton was president from 1992. Actually, in that case, it's better to use until. But let's say Bill Clinton was president through the internet age, right? Bill Clinton was president through the internet boom, right? So the boom of the internet happened 1998, 1997 to 2001. Those are the times that Bill Clinton was president, right? So that's another way to think about it. Or maybe a very famous person, right? Michael Jackson was popular through 2008. After 2008, I think he passed away in 2009 or something like that. He was very popular through 2008, right? So that's how we can use through to talk about time. Emmy, give me an example using through to talk about time.
Okay. His history book was discussion the real life through 16th century.
Good. So just before that, though, Emmy, that was a very good job. His history book discussion, right? Where's the verb in your sentence?
Yes, his history book. His history book discussions.
What's the verb for discussion? Discussion is the noun. What's the verb?
Discussion is the noun. Okay.
Yeah, discussion is a noun, right?
Okay. His book, his history book discussion.
Discusses, right? So the verb would be discusses, right? In the present tense. In the
Yes,
present
I
tense,
think
discusses.
it's the same.
Okay. What about the past
Discuss.
tense? If you want to talk about the past tense, what's the past tense of this verb?
Discussed. Ed, I think.
Yeah, discussed, right? So his history book discussed, or his history book discusses. Okay, now go on with the rest of the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we can say the centuries through centuries, right?
Yeah, absolutely. His history book discusses history through the 16th century.
Yes.
Right? So if you want to know something about the 20th century, don't read this book, right?
Yes.
Because it's not going to have it, right? Fantastic, fantastic, very good. And Dante, what about from you?
I study through the morning every day.
I studied through the morning every day. Fantastic, right? Which means if I want to call you at 10 o'clock, what will you be doing?
10
a.m. Let's say 10 a.m.
No, I study from 5 or 4 to 8. The reason is I have a child,
Really?
And then I can study in the afternoon, in the rest of the day.
Rest of the day.
I like to study in the morning.
Yeah, no, same here. I do a lot of studying in the morning too because it's just when my mind actually functions better in the morning, I feel.
Yeah.
In the later afternoon and the evening, I just feel so tired. I don't have the energy almost, right? So, fantastic job, guys. Fantastic job. We covered 6 prepositions, right? We looked at different examples of prepositions. Any questions on any of that? Let me get my phone, guys. Sorry about this. سلام جونم کلینگا هستم دیگه همین الان نمیتونم صحبت کنم دیگه کلینگا هم دیگه آره زنگ میزنم بهت ازم باشه فعلا خداحافظ Sorry guys I had to just answer real quick so any questions guys I was trying to think what I said any questions about what we talked about so far with the prepositions
No, I think it's clear. This proposition is easy to. It's clear to know the difference between time and date, time and place. Sorry.
Time and place,
but
exactly.
But difficult in at all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
In and out, yes.
In and at are difficult. We talked about that on our in our class yesterday, right, Emily? And
Yes.
it's a difficult concept. Prepositions are really one of those things in English that really requires practice to be able to get
Mm.
to the level where you can understand prepositions in conversations. Yeah. So the more we discuss these
Yes.
prepositions, the better, the easier it's going to get for you guys, right?
Mm.
Okay, guys, fantastic. Let's get started on our article then. So our article today is actually very appropriate. I was talking about this. I was actually on the website that this article talks about earlier today because for people who love to travel, I love to travel. Every day, or not every day, but every month or so, I travel for maybe a week every month. Sometimes I go internationally. Sometimes I stay in the U.S. Um, and we have a new revolution in the travel industry, right? Hotels for a long time were the only way that you could stay in a safe place. However, today there are so many other ways to travel and travel very inexpensively, travel with very little money, right? And one of the examples that we're going to talk about today is a website called Airbnb, right? BNB, right, in English is really an abbreviation. It's a short way to say bed and breakfast, right? This is something that's very popular in the United States, I think also in other countries, where if you go to a bed and breakfast hotel, it's a type of hotel. If you go to a bed and breakfast hotel, you can expect a nice bed, a good place to sleep, and in the morning, you can also expect breakfast, right? So for people who travel, it's a really good way for them to travel, right? A normal hotel will maybe have a very large lobby, very beautiful rooms, very large beds, very, expensive things. Bed and breakfast is much more normal, much more affordable. Just the essential things that you need. You need food, you need a bed, you need a closet, you need maybe internet, maybe a table, something like that. A bed and breakfast will have it, right? So Airbnb is a new website online that you can actually stay in somebody's home. Let's say somebody has a spare room in their house. They can put their spare room on Airbnb, and people can pay you and come and visit you. These guests can stay at your house, and you can turn your spare rooms into spare cash, into money, right? So that's what we're going to read about today, Airbnb. It's a travel revolution in our spare rooms, right? I'm going to also screen share so you guys can see my screen. We can follow along in the article. And let me know. Can you guys all see the screen?
Yes.
Dante, can you see the
Yes,
screen? Uh-huh.
yeah,
Okay,
I can see.
fantastic. Fantastic, thank you. Airbnb, the travel revolution in our spare rooms. All over the world, travelers are abandoning overpriced and unappealing hotels in favor of smaller and more homely accommodation. This is a house in California that maybe the owner decided to Airbnb his house, and now guests can stay in his bedrooms, right? I shall gloss over my first experience of Airbnb for a moment and move swiftly to the second. It is a work trip to San Francisco. There are almost no hotel rooms anywhere, but eventually the Guardian Observer's travel agency turns up the Ramada Inn and books me in. It's expensive, $252 a night. The website shows the rooms are dingy and tasteless, turquoise carpets, small windows, chintz bedspreads, and the reviews on TripAdvisor are, how to put this politely, discouraging. The most recent is a one-star review headlined, "Wow, really?" It goes on, "This hotel was disastrous from beginning to end. From the filthy state of the room to the sheets that hadn't even been washed from the previous guests. This was by far the worst hotel experience in my entire life, bar none." The second is headlined "Horrible" and calls it a dump. I say, perhaps I'll have a look at Airbnb, which is a diminution of Airbed B&B. And this is how I end up not in the Ramada Inn, ranked by TripAdvisor as the 215th worst hotel out of 235 in San Francisco, but in an elegant Edwardian apartment in the most fashionable area of the city, the Mission. My landlord is Sacha Tueni, who, this being San Francisco, in the age of the second dot-com boom, has a startup, and within minutes of my arrival, he's made me download a ride-sharing app to my phone, given me a guide to the neighborhood, and offered to introduce me to anyone I need to meet. It's a small town, he says. He shows me my room. It is immaculate. There is no chintz. It costs less than 2/3 of the Ramada. Airbnb was once a startup too, founded by two designers, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia, and a technologist, Nathan Blecharczyk, in 2008. It is now the granddaddy of what has come to be known as the sharing economy. It's an overinflated term for an accommodation website, but then Airbnb is nothing if not overinflated. Its rate of growth is phenomenal. At the start of 2012, 1 million people had used the site. By the end of 2012, it was 4 million. And the effect on the hotel industry, on people's traveling habits, on householders' incomes, is only just starting to be felt. There's an economic revolution that Airbnb is spearheading, and it's happening in people's bedrooms. Airbnb takes a booking every 2 seconds, and there are now 300,000 rooms, apartments, and houses listed on the site, including 500 castles, 200 tree houses, and 1,400 boats. In the garden of another Airbnb property in San Francisco, Blecharczyk tells me that 150,000 people a night stay in an Airbnb. How does that compare to a chain like Hilton? I ask him. Oh, it doesn't compare, he says. I looked up Intercontinental recently, and they do 100 million nights a year. Except when I get home, I do the sums, and 150,000 times 365 days is nearly 55 million bed nights a year. So Airbnb's current rates of growth parity may be only a few months away. Airbnb has not released any figures for this year, but I notice Blecharczyk's co-founder said that in March it was making 50,000 to 60,000 bookings a night. Its growth is super exponential, more than doubling every 6 months. Right? So we'll stop there, guys. But as we look at this article, and if you guys have time later on, you guys can maybe look at this article on your own, right? This is really a remarkable change that we are seeing, right? For the first time in the internet age in our history, people are taking hospitality to the next level, right? I have a spare bedroom in my house. I have a spare room in my house. Why don't I put that room on the internet, right? And if you guys go to Airbnb.com right now, I was on the website just a few hours ago today because I'll be traveling to another city and I wanted to see. The hotels are very expensive. I'm not going to stay in a hotel. I want to stay in somebody's home, you know, somebody with very good reviews, right? Just 1 month ago, I was also at an Airbnb location when I was in another country, right? So it's really fun, right? It's revolutionizing the hospitality industry and the hotel industry, right? Dante, why do you think people choose Airbnb for their travel instead of maybe choosing a hotel?
I think that it's a different kind of to of being in a place. No? If you take a B&B, you have the opportunity to know the people that live in that country or in that place. No, it's different. I think that it's a great idea. Well, for me, it's a great idea. You can save money too, and that's good. You you can have more money to waste in other things.
Yeah,
I think.
right. Especially when you travel, right? You always are paying for different things, for food, for transportation, for
Yeah.
so many other things, right? And if there's any way to save money, why not, right? I mean, when I used Airbnb about a month ago, fantastic experience, right? The person whose house I stayed in, it wasn't even a house. I had a full apartment. You know, he was just a landlord. I had a kitchen, I had a bathroom, I had a bedroom, and it was just $50 a night, right?
It's
Rem
cheap.
Um,
Remarkable. I mean, the I was in Istanbul, right, which is a very expensive city for hotels. The
mm,
hotel that was across the street from me, nightly the rate was 235 US dollars, right? And I
um,
was staying same location, just across the street, $50 a night. I had a TV, I had phenomenal internet, right? Better internet than I have here in the US, right? And $50 a night. I mean, it was unbelievable, right? So, Emmy, what do you think about Airbnb? I mean, do you think why would you, let's say you have a choice, you're going to a different city, would you choose Airbnb?
um, I think just the point, it's all things are so great until now. But if it's safety to go, maybe I will travel alone. So if it's safety and they have a lots of security things and they will check before and have, like you said, best reviewing about the hosts. So I think yes, it's yes, I will go to
Yeah,
this.
they do have
Yes.
reviews, right? They do have reviews. So if you guys visit the website, you'll see that, you choose any city in the world, right? And some of the people that are on Airbnb, they're new, so they are trying very hard to build their customer uh,
Yes.
base, right? Others, however, maybe they've been doing this for 2 years now. They have like the guy whose house I stayed in. He had like 700 reviews, right? I mean, like some amazing number. Like he's always has guests. Everybody said this guy, if you want to visit Istanbul, this is the guy you need to know, right?
Uh-huh.
You
Yes.
know.
Uh-huh.
So,
Understand.
and it was
Yes.
great. I mean, it was
Yes.
exactly like I wanted. Everything was beautiful.
And if
Everything
it's
was fun.
clean and about the cleaning things and the food
Yeah,
is healthy.
they
And
put
sometimes if
photos and
they
everything.
stay in the same house with the guests, you will feel like you are, um, yes, like a guest, not
Hmm.
like your service will be uh, generous from them. And uh, do you eat with them? If it's possible to eat with them or talk to them if you have
Yeah,
just rent a room, not the whole
yeah.
house.
Yeah, yeah, they didn't care. I mean, the guy I was with, he said, "Yeah, absolutely. If you want to come down and eat with my friends, there were restaurants nearby." I was hanging out with my friends more, so I didn't really eat with them. But yeah, I mean, very generous, great, great, great
Hmm.
group of people. So
Yes,
it helps you learn about the culture. It helps you learn about that country, just like we heard from Dante, right? And
yes.
if you guys had the opportunity, let's say you have a spare room in your house, would you like to do something like Airbnb? Would you like to host a guest from another country?
Mm.
Let's start with Dante first.
Uh, well, I think that uh, I will do it, but uh, I will have a big I don't know how to say. I will be a big afraid because uh, I don't know because I don't know the people who are living who are coming to my house, and I don't know, but I think that I will try it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, generally, I think the experience for many people it's very good, right? Airbnb actually has policies, right? So if you find that the person that you bring to your home, you can make rules. You can have rules for your house, right? When people are reviewing your house, your room, they see those rules. Maybe you have a rule that no music after 10 p.m. Or
Okay.
I need a passport and I need identification. As soon as you come, I need to see that. I'll keep a photocopy. If you are very strict, you can say, I need a
Mm-hmm.
background check, maybe a police report, right? Whatever. I mean,
Yes.
you are the host. You're
It's,
the boss, right? You're the boss. So,
yes, it's so nice actually.
yeah,
Um, my father house, for example, in Jordan, he has lots of big department, and he live with his mother only. So many rooms are
empty.
empty. Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So yes, he can, and he's a man actually, and so it's protected if anyone comes from anywhere else and just rent the other room from maybe 1 week at
Hmm.
the most actually. It's good experience for them both because he will talk to them. I think they will have exchange the cultures uh, and yes, and he will the benefits of money. Yes, it's good also, even if it's less than the hotels. But
Yeah.
for the owners, it's great
Yeah, it's,
price.
it's it's money you didn't have, right? It's just a
Yes,
spare room in your house that was bringing
yes,
you zero
and
money,
nothing
and now,
else with your rules. Yes, it's great.
yeah,
But here,
yeah,
Saudi Arabia, it's hard to do it
yeah, of course, because
because
no
we
nobody
don't
can get
have.
there.
Yes,
Even people that are born there can't get there.
yes.
We've had this conversation, right? Yeah, Dante, Emmy and I are laughing because Saudi Arabia as a country is very restrictive. I was born in Saudi Arabia, but I need special permission to go back. You know, I need a Saudi person to be my sponsor. Lots of rules and things like that. So yeah, it's not the best solution for some parts of the world, but in most of the free world, right? This is something that is very affordable and really making a big cultural impact, I think, for a lot of people, right? So, um, would you guys? So let's say you guys are traveling to another country, right? First time you're going to this country, never went there before, right? Do you think that would you consider traveling in a group on Airbnb, or would you rather travel alone, right? Let's say you have two options. Maybe you can go with the group. Maybe I come to you, Dante, and I say, hey, Dante, let's go to Italy, right? I've never been to Italy. Let's say you have also never been to Italy. Let's go as a group, right? Or would you say, nah, Farhan, I don't know you. I don't know who you are, what you're doing, right? I want to go alone, right? So what would you do if it was something like Airbnb? Would you like the experience in a group, or would you like it alone?
Well, I think that I would like to travel in a group because you there are more people with you. Um, um, if you go alone, it's going to be difficult because if you don't know the city, um, it's is difficult and is no good uh, to visit a place alone.
Hmm.
It's very funny when you go with more people.
Yeah, it's much
Like
more fun, right? It's much more fun.
my friend.
Uh-huh, exactly. And you are just able to experience more, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when I travel, I actually travel alone many times because my friends they fly from different cities because none of my friends live in my city really. My close friends they all live in other parts of the country. So when we reach our destination, we are together. But
Okay.
when I physically travel, I'm alone, right? And sometimes it is very difficult, right? Maybe my flight gets delayed, and I need to stay in a city for a couple more hours. They don't. They already reached the destination. Maybe just help with bags. People are tired, right? I mean, somebody to help you with, somebody to give you directions, to somebody to talk to, even, right?
Mm.
I mean, sometimes we don't have that if you're traveling alone. What about you, Emmy? If you had the option, would you travel alone or would you travel in a group?
If they are my friends, yes, I would like to travel with them. If they are my sisters, it will be so great. But I think if you meant to uh, if you are talking about group from Airbnb that they said if you wanna go with some people, here's the list of the people if you wanna go with them in the
Mm-hmm.
same place to stay. I think it will be. Mm, I will not choose that because I don't know the people there, even if
Mm-hmm.
they are so uh, generous. But I
Mm-hmm.
think in your case, if I was like you all the time traveling with alone, and I don't have chance to get my friend with me, so maybe I will just do it for once to see if it's okay or not.
Yeah. Personally, I mean, there are advantages to traveling alone, right? You don't have to worry
Mm,
about anybody else. Like sometimes travel in a group and other people. There's a saying in English, maybe even a saying in Arabic. I don't know, I forgot. But you best know a person when you travel with them, right? Because that's when you don't have any of the comforts, right? You are struggling every day. You are going somewhere. You are spending your energy, spending your money. So people's tempers, their moods change when they travel, right?
yes. No, just
So
two people. It's hard to take three people and more.
yeah, like if
Just
it's
two
a
people and it's okay.
yeah, if it's a large group, if there's kids, forget about it, right? I mean, it's
Yes,
not going to be fun. Like if little kids are, oh my
yes.
God, that's a nightmare, right? Uh, anyway, guys, one other question. So we were reading about how Airbnb has been making so much money, right? I mean, this website's popularity has skyrocketed, right? In English, we say skyrocketed means like a rocket that has gone to the sky, right? It has grown so much in so little time. Do you guys think Airbnb threatens the hotel industry, the established hotel industry?
Mm. Well, I think that B&B affects. I don't know if affects a lot of, but I think that affects the hotel industry in a slightly way in this moment. But I don't know if I think that if B&B becomes so popular in the future, I think that it will be affect the hotel industry.
Hmm. I mean, I don't go to hotels unless it's for a job and they pay for me, right? So like if my company pays for me, then of course I don't care. If I have to pay myself, I mean service-wise, a person in their home, they're cooking you food, they are showing you their city, they are having great conversations with you. That is very, very important to me, right?
Okay,
As
Mm.
you,
Farhan. If
yeah.
they ask you for both, the both of situation, they will say we will pay. Do you choose the hotel or the
You know,
B&B?
I would choose B&B for the experience,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hotel is, yani, like, I mean, whatever, like, it's a hotel. Like, you don't. it's you have your door, you have your room, you close the door, and you're in your world, right? There's no difference between me right now in my house and me in a hotel room, right? Traveling for me is all about meeting people, learning about people's cultures, right? Sharing the cultures and just having that kind of an experience,
Yes,
right?
but sometimes the hotels are very luxury and 5 stars.
Yeah, I mean, I can get a 3-star Airbnb and make it into a 7-star experience.
Wow, and okay.
You know, but no, I do understand what you're saying. I do definitely understand. I think if I were to travel with my parents, 100% hotel, 100%
Mm.
hotel. You know, if it
Mhm.
involves like other people that maybe aren't, like I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep on the ground, right?
Yes,
But if you're talking about older people, other considerations, if you want, somebody who you can just call any hour of the day and they can take
yes.
you, to
Mm.
the airport and all of this stuff, yeah, the hotel is absolutely much, much better. But for me, I don't care. I am a young guy. Like Airbnb is the best option for me.
It's better for young people, no? I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's no age limit, right? I know tons of people that are doing really well and they love to travel and they're older. But I mean, Airbnb is great because it gives you both sides, right? If you are a young person and you love to travel, then you can be the consumer. If you're an established older person, you can be the host,
Mm.
right?
Right.
So really, I mean, like anybody can win from this. You just have to be safe, like we said before, right? The guy that I stayed with, first thing he said was, "Hey, man, I'm really sorry, but I need to ask you for your passport. I didn't write this on my rules, but this is a government regulation." I said, "No problem, man. Like, you can have whatever you need, right? If they need to know I'm a criminal, I'm a, whatever. I can share
Whatever.
anything with them, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's not a problem. So, um, anyway, guys, great conversation. Do we have any questions about any of the stuff we talked about? Prepositions. We looked at travel, so we used a lot of from and to, and Airbnb. Obviously, a very interesting article for me because it's so true. I
Yes.
think in the next year, in the next 2 years, I think this industry will really explode, the bed and
Mm.
breakfast industry,
Yes.
because people love to do it. I mean, I considered doing it for myself. Like my apartment has 1 bedroom, but if I'm not here, somebody else can stay here, uh, and I can make money that way. So
Okay. So just a question about
yeah, go ahead.
uh, do you after you finish from the department or the room, uh, do you must clean it before you go
No,
or they?
no, they clean
Mhm.
it. Yeah,
But
I mean
you
it's
receive it clean. You
yeah,
expect it.
you receive it clean. Absolutely, you receive it clean, right?
Mhm.
Everything is perfect. When you receive it, everything is perfect. Then, I mean,
Mhm.
they own the house or whatever. They can clean the bed and the bathroom or whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
As long as you don't destroy the place. If you destroy the place, yeah, they'll charge you, right? But
Yes. The other classes they said about that
mhm,
they have now they uh, the people go there. They must have now uh, pay for charges if they broke something or they yes if they didn't if it's not if there is something broken or something bad happened to the room or to the house,
mhm.
they make them to pay now.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be, right? I mean,
Yes.
it should not be anything
Yes,
different like
and
that.
sometimes they said the Airbnb are if the are involved for that. If the people sometimes run away, didn't mention that, just go out,
Yeah.
the Airbnb they must pay now for the
They
hosts.
do. They
Yes.
do. They do. They have rules like that. If somebody steals your computer,
Yes.
You know, a guest comes into your house and steals money, steals important stuff. They will compensate. They will pay for you, right? I mean, it's great. You know, I love the activity, all the freedom that we have now to do
Yes.
what we want to do. You know, really works great. Dante, any questions from you? Any thoughts about the class? It was your first class with me, so I want to know how it was.
Well, I like you very much. The topic was so interesting. It was
Great,
so
thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope you can join me again. You know, I have a class every night at this time, Monday through Friday, and also I know it's very early in Spain though. I think maybe it's like 4 a.m. or something, right?
Right now it's
6 a.m. Wow,
6 a.m. Yeah,
really? Okay.
right.
So, yeah, absolutely. If you can join later in the week, I have classes. You can check the schedule. I'd be more than happy, Dante. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank
Yeah, absolutely. Emmy, any questions from you?
No, but I just want to mention something just only.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, we do that renting houses in Hajj seasons
Oh,
in
really?
Mecca especially. Yes, because a lots of hotels are full in Hajj, and some some owners for the houses and the apartments are um, uh, um, um, the people are live there. They asked them to live in the contract. They said, okay, you will stay at all every year and all the year in the house as you like, but in the days of the Hajj, maybe 15 day, you will be out. Collect all what you want in just one room and close it, take your key of the room and leave it for us. This is will be written in the contract. In most of the houses and departments, especially around the Haram. So because so they rent it for the maybe two family or groups will stay at this department, and the price also will be not as the hotel's prices, but it will be high, and the owners will have money benefits for that. Yes, they
Absolutely.
will. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, both sides benefit. That's what's great about this, right? I mean, and
Yeah.
it's the idea behind it is so simple, right? I have a room,
So in Saudi
you pay me
Arabia, they
money
have the same B&B, but in their way.
in their special way, yes.
Yes.
In their special way that stops foreigners from coming easily and makes it difficult
Yes.
for everybody to even
Just
visit.
the pilgrimage, yes.
Yeah,
Just
just a
the
pilgrimage, nothing
Yes.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I want to visit where I was born, unfortunately I can't. Sorry.
Yes. But a lots of students here are, they are kicked out in official way to just for the honors for the Hajj. For the pilgrims, yes, to stay in their homes. Sometimes they live at their cars for maybe 10 days for that, or in the other friend's house. Uh, they can't stay in their home in that. And almost they have weekends from the universities, and they have uh, off days in the Hajj season. So they sometimes go out from Mecca if they don't have do the Hajj. They go out in the Jeddah or Taif, live there in several days, 10 days maybe, and then they go back after that.
Interesting situation.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Just
just
let you know about
surprised.
that. We have
Yeah,
B&B in Mecca only. Mecca and Medina, yes, I think.
yeah. No other cities. I guess that's good. That's good.
No.
I mean, I guess other cities is possible if the people are from the GCC. You know, if you're from like the Kuwait, Emirat, or Bahrain, or Qatar, those countries, then
Yes, Arabian Gulf.
they can come very easily into Saudi. There's no problems. But the everybody else is has problems. So maybe they should just make a
Yes.
Gulf BNB for those people, you know. But anyway,
Yes, maybe.
yeah. It was great, guys, to talk to you, and I really enjoyed the class. Hopefully, we can see each other tomorrow night as well. I'll be looking forward to our next class.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Farhan.
Farham.
Absolutely. You guys are very
Thank you.
welcome, and have a great rest of the day for Emmy, and a great rest of the night, or actually day also for you, Dante. Yeah.
Yes, it's morning here.
Alrighty. Take care, guys.
Mm.
Have a good
See you
one.
tomorrow.
See you
Bye.
Bye.
guys. See you tomorrow.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Farham. Thank you.
Bye, Dante. Bye.
Bye.
Of my father-in-law.
Uh-huh. Sounds good. Good to see you, Claudio. Good to see you, Claudio.
Because today my father-in-law is in my house, but maybe he he could use my computer. Okay,
No worries.
I will relog in. Oh, I need to see my picture. My English is a lot of rich today. I don't remember any words
No problem.
today.
We can help. We can help. I'm sure you didn't forget everything. You'll remember. Just have to practice, and you can remember everything.
Yes, because some days, when we are learning English by um, of another country, it's very difficult to keep connect with the language all the time. Because, for instance, I will need today I was working a
Mm-hmm.
lot, so I was talking Portuguese, thinking Portuguese. So now when I am talking with you, is a little bit more difficult
Mm-hmm.
to remember English words and what I remembered. Oh, hello, Farhan.
Hey, Jose, how's it going?
I'm doing great. Oh, sorry, Faha. I am Claudio. I know you. I already know you, but I don't know. But I intrigued by the account of. in another token of us. I don't know how I say. It's very strange. It.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what you're saying is 100% true. If you don't practice regularly, maybe even one week. Let's say you take a class, just one class, and then one week later you take another class. If you're not reviewing the information uh, every day or every 2 days,
Yeah.
as regular as possible. If you can't review it, then you'll notice that it'll get a little bit weaker, right? And like
Yes.
you'll begin to
Yes.
forget things and things like that. Yeah, that's very normal.
Yes. 2 days. Sometimes 2 days is maybe became very difficult to learn in English. Oh, no, I will relog in myself my real account.
Okay, no
Okay.
problems, Claudio. Yeah, see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Dante, how's it going?
Well, I'm fine.
Good.
How are
I
you?
think this is your first time in my class.
Yes, it's my first time in your class.
Uh-huh. Fantastic. Well, Dante, welcome. My name is Farhan, and I live in the United States. I am 24 years old, and I've been teaching on Colingo for maybe 2 months now. So it's been a really great experience. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Dante.
Okay. Well, my name is Dante Ricalde. I'm from Peru,
Peru.
but yeah,
Mucho
Peru.
gusto.
Mucho gusto. But uh, I'm living in Spain.
Living in
Uh,
Spain. Wow.
see, I have living in Spain for 5 years, more or
For
less,
5 years. Wow, that's awesome. What part of Spain?
in Madrid.
In Madrid.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I have never been to Spain, but I know it's a very beautiful country. And one of my friends is actually from Lima. He is traveling everywhere. He went to Santiago in Chile. He was in Bogota. He was all over, just traveling very recently. So I want to ask him how his trips were and what he saw, what he experienced. You know?
Mhm. Uh, could you repeat, please, the last question because I couldn't understand very well.
Sure, no problems. I was saying that one of my friends, he was in different cities. So he went to Santiago, he went to Bogota. He's from Lima, so he's also from Peru. And I have to ask him, how his trips were